So welcome to today's podcast where we're going to talk about how small businesses can compete with big brands. So Chris, I'm going to hand over to you straight away to kick us off. So where does a small business start today?
Yeah, great topic to talk about actually. How SMEs can compete with big brands online, and we're so used to working with SMEs and big brands as well. But it's tailored. Your mentoring and the things that you do in those in that work and in those projects are definitely different. So from my point of view with commercial video production, there's definitely a lot that SMEs can do to, get a jump on those big brands that are already well established within the industry. So maybe starting off with budgeting and prioritizing content that's highly impactful and has a good ROI, like return of investment. So, like most businesses think that commercial video production is very expensive and they might not have the budget for those things. But if you're really working with agencies or freelancers on projects and sticking to a budget clearly defined from the offset, and thinking about your impactful stories, your customer testimonials, the core products and services that you can demonstrate through those videos, realistically, like there's a lot can be done within small budgets. So I would say number one is clearly define your budgets from the very beginning and have realistic expectations of what that's going to get you. So, as an example of that, say you have between 500 and 1,500 pound, you can still get a very good professional quality video suitable for social media, your website, maybe not TV or broadcast at that price, but you can definitely repurpose that content across your social media channels and so much more. Taking that all back, if you look at some examples out there that's happened already, the Dollar Shave Club, of course, Kieran, you showed me this a while back. I'd never heard of Dollar Shave Club, and Kieran pointed it out to me. And it's just fascinating that they have an iconic viral video. And it was famously created on a very modest budget, around $5,000. But this was for TV. Is TV, Kieran, or YouTube maybe?
YouTube, yeah. No,
It was a
again,
YouTube
you're
video.
you're 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 aging me now, but yeah, there's it, and then there's more that copied it. There was a potty one as well, and yeah, it launched the brand. It was incredible. Like it just went absolutely incredibly viral. Like it was probably the most viral thing that year that it launched. So and then yeah, of course, all marketeers studied it. So very interesting to see. But yeah, but you're the video expert, so you know more than me.
Well, just 27 million views
Mm.
on a 5K budget or just below that.
It's not bad at all,
Um,
is it?
Absolutely incredible. And it propelled that SME at the time, who were competing with well-established brands like Gillette. Um, and in July 19th, 2016, they were bought by Unilever for 1 billion. The return of investment there, they've basically created a small viral video. Well, they didn't know it was going to go viral, but it was very authentic. It sold the brand because people bought into their authenticity, and then became very successful from that. So
Definitely. I
um,
can remember them from that time always popping up in different forms of online content. Podcast is one of the most common ones where I would have seen them as sponsor kind of placements in the middle of segments and that too. So they did a lot in terms of like giving out people some of their goods to kind of use them and talk about them as well. So they, even outside of content that they would have recorded and generated themselves, they essentially handed it out to people to go and make the content for them in some ways too.
so yeah, like I mean, looking at that style of video, it's a brand story video. It kind of falls under that remit. But like for an SME trying to compete with the bigger brands, videos like brand stories, customer testimonials, they build trust. They're cost effective and very impactful. You've got product demonstrations. So if you directly show your audience how to use your product, just a stat according to Neil Patel's marketing insights, 144% your videos can increase product sales. That's if, within product demonstrations. Gymshark initially prioritized authentic video testimonials behind the scenes, and storytelling from fitness influencers. And that directly contributed to their growth from an SME into a global brand valued at over 1 billion as well. So, there is a lot of value in creating commercial video for your company. It's probably the easiest way to get a jump on those bigger, well-established brands, because you can be maybe a little bit more flexible with it, and it'll make it more authentic rather than the bigger corporate brands that you see every day. Probably moving on to the next point, which would be repurposing your content. So, and it's probably leading into a little bit of like web development and SEO as well. So, if you create a video that's long form, 10 minutes long or something like that, it could be a podcast like this. It could be, interviews with clients and whoever, along those lines of maybe 10 to 15 minute long form videos. You're cutting out social media clips. We've seen it firsthand from, if you look at the Joe Rogan podcast, he has a separate channel that is dedicated to clips of the long form videos. And it's just a way for you to get seen and heard in another way.
What does everyone think about, especially then when we look at that conversion for, okay, long form content, convert that down into short, wee, bite-sized pieces. So we've seen either, dedicated kind of clip channels for one. In other cases, they'll put out shorts as well within the context of YouTube. And then obviously that can feed into the other options out there, like I suppose TikTok and maybe to a degree Instagram Reels, which I'm not as familiar with as well.
100%. Even on our own channels, that's an absolute cert. For us, we'd create long form sort of documentary style videos and try and repurpose as much of that content into social shorts. Everyone knows now that shorts are way more engaging and way more beneficial for ROI for businesses and brands. So if you're not on TikTok and Instagram and social media in that short form, the chances of you getting seen by a wider audience are not as high. But also, going into web development and SEO, you can pull out the transcripts from your videos, and that can serve as blog posts, maybe some SEO on your video. Like one of the things I learned a couple of years ago was on YouTube, if you basically take your video script and optimize it so that it's correct and put it back in, it adds a better SEO score to your video. Is that right, Kieran?
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, a lot of people would throw up a video and miss some of the key things. Now, again, there's two types of videos, I guess. The ones that you're trying to go viral, so to speak, and they're like catchy titles and maybe don't focus on the keywords or what people are searching for. But if anyone searches in Google search or any search engine now, that you'll often find a panel or a vertical panel of videos in the results. Again, mainly from YouTube, some from Facebook, sometimes from TikTok. And if you don't have videos, then you're missing appearing in that video carousel, and they're pulled in from keywords. So again, yeah, you need to do that. If you think of TikTok, again, it's a search platform as well. And again, you type in your keywords and away you go, and it's all video content. So definitely, yeah, what we see is people create videos and it's 80% job done and posted, which is great, absolutely amazing, and better that done than not. But if you're going for gold standard, definitely you want to put a couple of keywords into that and link back to your site if possible, because you want to get the max out of it. But yeah, it's all good. And then we have the fun of trying to get the video embedded onto the website, and that's where we turn to Mr. Marcus.
Well, luckily that part isn't too bad. Yeah, I would like to take us on, I suppose, a quick wee bit of insight now, and we'll touch back on the video side of things very shortly. But just looking at cost-effective websites for SMEs, and our example of choice is, of course, going to be WordPress, which is our bread and butter here at ProfileTree. So, I suppose as a quick wee introduction to WordPress, forgive me if everyone's heard this before, but WordPress currently powers about 43% of all websites, including a few decent Fortune 500 companies as well. This can include, I suppose, the Walt Disney Company, Sony Music, and the New York Times, for example. So WordPress, initially in some people's minds, people might think of it back to its original old online content blogging days, perhaps a precursor to our video days that we more modernly have now, which is probably taken over from that wee side of things. But no, WordPress is really, really adaptable, and it's really, really scalable as well. Even as for a first website on a smaller budget as well, there's a lot of scalability. You can add things, change things, and even if it gets to a point of, doing a rebuild of it later at some point, information that you have stored on your WordPress site can be imported and exported. There's lots of valuable stuff that you can move across and use as a quick wee basis. So I suppose just to go over that in particular as well, there's multilingual capabilities with WordPress 2, with WPML and TranslatePress are some of the core plugins that we see in there too. So it's fairly adaptable worldwide in terms of usage. Now, in terms of where to kind of get started, okay, someone's recommended you WordPress. Where do you go looking? There's at least 3 examples that I would like to give as a quick suggestion, and in particular, they all tie into a plugin Elementor, which I would recommend as one of the visual builders to consider when building your site. To start off with that, choosing a kind of theme to get started off with, there can be Theme Forest is a excellent kind of wee staple in terms of having a wee look there. If for nothing else, even if not to purchase, then to use as a little bit of, we'll say, inspiration, if you like. It's good to go and look at other websites and get a feel for them, see what you like, see what you dislike, see what they're doing, see what they're not doing as well. But Theme Forest can have themes starting at anything from $59 US and ranging up to more, depending on what kind of advanced functionality or how detailed the design of that theme may be. And they're pretty much good out the gate to take and personalize and make your own. There's other wee innovations out there, so if you would rather get more hands-on kind of with development, then there are tools like Section Express out there, which is really, really convenient for getting base kind of wireframe layouts. It can be quite useful even for just getting the odd wee section here or there for like a team section or potentially a video section. It can be hard sometimes to, if you are handed, for example, a document of content to try and figure out, okay, well, how do I square this? How do I make this look pretty? And, what kind of layout do I work with it? And the other wee theme option is, I suppose, showing a little bit of bias. One of our personal favorites, Bloxy. It's really, really good. It's been singing really well for us. From the performance side of things, it's a really efficient WordPress theme. It can be used in combination with Elementor or other visual builders, although its results so far have been great with Elementor. It offers a lot of different tools that you can work with in terms of self-hosting Google Fonts, nice wee place to set your color palette and typography. So a few different ones that you can consider there. Definitely recommend everyone at home go look them up, and if nothing else, have a wee look at other people's websites to get your initial kind of wee impression.
So a lot of SMEs that I've worked with have someone dedicated for marketing or social media, some role of that nature. How hard is WordPress? Like, how big is the learning gap for someone who has a little bit of knowledge of like adding content to a website?
So as far as, I suppose, taking the easy answer first, which would be website management, so managing an existing website from the marketing side of things, you should have more tools than you need, essentially. There's plenty available out there as far as your site, if not already set to be integrated with things like Google Analytics and Search Console. Then there's quick, easy plugins. SiteKit is the common plugin that gets used for integrating all of that, and that can just start feeding your website info straight into Search Console, into Analytics, into Google Ads as well as giving you a quick wee hub to monitor it. So, that part's easy. Quite often we see that some businesses will have CRMs, so common example would be HubSpot, for example. Others might use Zoho. There's lots of integrations that you can do with the forms in your site to help with lead generation and keeping things moving across. And there's a whole plethora of marketing features in there to get all the data synced together. MailChimp's another one, an easy integration onto a WordPress website that are well documented, well covered in, if not other training videos out there, then maybe some of our own. I suppose the more complicated part is if you are going into this from a development angle, starting off from scratch as opposed to managing existing. And that one, there would be an initial kind of wee gap of knowledge, I would say, as far as development goes, just getting a feel for how a website should be structured and best practices. Can take a wee bit of training and mentorship, but the best way to learn is to go in and make a few mistakes, I would say, anyway, and not be too shy about it, especially if you're working on a development site. No one's going to see it. You don't got to worry. You can go in and break things a little bit and until you get them perfect.
So that probably leads me into another question then, around authenticity. If you're developing, so to give you more context with video, consumers strongly value authenticity over like polished perfection these days. They prefer brands where they can see the authenticity and the transparency, and that's where SMEs have a unique advantage over the larger brands due to their authentic, relatable personalities behind the camera. So SMEs probably, they balance genuine messaging with powerful, investing in clear audio, good lighting, consistent branding, but intentionally leaving imperfections or candid moments. And that's what the big brands sometimes miss. What is it like with websites? Have you got that same features? If someone was building their own website, if there's a uniqueness, does that fly, or what would you say about that?
Yeah, I suppose there are some obvious markers that would make themselves apparent first. So obviously with smaller businesses tend to have they have a tendency to kind of lean more towards their locale. So, if a business is providing some sort of, service in terms of like a local service, then there's a little bit more kind of personalized in there with location mentions. They may have testimonials further down the page that, if someone in the area might go, I know that guy, so there's a couple implicit ones in there, I suppose, just by your scale and kind of nature. Particularly video is one of the best ways to do it. It is the medium really of choice these days for catching people's attention and keeping it. So a lot of websites will opt to have a kind of video introduction. They'll have some sort of video towards the top of their site. If they just want to do it more aesthetically, they might have a background video in there as well. So getting something a little bit lively and engaging is always plenty valuable. And I've seen websites take different approaches. Testimonials are a key to help build a bit of confidence about the business itself, and to kind of share other experiences as well. If you can do case studies, that seems to link quite well with people. I'm sure Kieran can get into things like that a little bit more from the SEO side of things, but certainly it's a valuable part for websites. Yeah, I suppose just getting the design of the website quite personal to the branding. You don't want it to look too like a plain black and white kind of site with nothing too much going on. Try to get some primary colors in there, use them for things that should be interacted with. So yeah, small businesses can definitely avail of that, whereas larger businesses, they don't tend to show their faces too much. They mightn't have an about page that's written more like some like corporate style, whereas small businesses can do it a little bit more like a kind of biography style and talk about their story a little bit, the same fashion that you would want to do it with a video.
Yeah, I feel like as well when you create a site with that personal touch and your own personal branding, it's very easy then to copy that across to video. Even if you are creating your own internal content, you just take your brand colors, your fonts, all those essentials on your website that you can then just use in the video again. Even if you're doing internal production, you can still apply those same things very easily. It's probably good to talk a little bit about internal production, and then we'll go to Kieran about SEO and what to do with those videos, or and your website as well. So an essential thing about internal production is having the right equipment. But that doesn't mean you have to spend £1,500, £2,000 for a DSLR or a high quality camera. If you look at nowadays, modern smartphone cameras like the iPhone, Samsung, Google Pixel, they all have professional quality 4K video capabilities. And as a stat as well, approximately 89% of SMEs now use smartphone cameras as their primary way to video capture and record their videos. So it's just it's incredible that we're now in an age where you don't need to. Well, I mean, if you look at a camera, smartphones are around £1,500, but most people have them. Most people don't have DSLR cameras, so
a big factor in that too is, especially with all of the different apps that you can record on or with, including directly with some of the social media platforms that we talked about earlier, they all come with their own kind of advanced filters and different wee settings and things that you can use, which would be awfully convenient if you could have that with a DSLR.
You're right.
It'd be nice if they started doing that.
That's probably another completely different conversation when they start bringing AI into hardware.
Oh boy,
So
yeah.
to make everything accessible to everyone. So, there is a learning gap with using a DSLR camera. There's no doubt about that. But eventually it will be so optimized with AI that, well, we hope so, that it's available to everyone. But another few things to consider, when you're using a smartphone camera to record video, the audio quality is essential. That's unforgivable. If you get that wrong, people can't hear what you're saying. They can't engage with your content in the same way. So buying like a budget-friendly wireless lavalier mic from Amazon or a shotgun microphone like the Rode Video Micro, it'll bring the production quality up leaps and bounds and enhance your video to be more professional. Stability is another one as well. So like framing your shots with a tripod or using a gimbal for your B-roll footage. Things like the DJI Osmo Mobile, it's around £100, £150, and then maybe for interviews to consider lighting as well. So all these things are very cheap on Amazon now. You can buy budget equipment across the board. Now, of course, with budget equipment, there's limitations, but Kieran would agree with me in saying that if a video online that looks good is better than a video not online,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
And someone's hard drive or on the mobile phone, 100% no, and I totally agree with everything. And again, just I know we've talked about video already and how you can use it to for SME to target larger organizations, of course, optimize websites. I'm thinking then with SEO, I really think SEO levels the playing field where a small company can really fight a big company if their content game is on, if they have a good website and they have great video and then they've got good written content, they can actually compete against the big companies, because again, search engines often, especially for local businesses or local searches, search engines will often surface local businesses first. So again, the big national websites might not appear unless they're, it's a brand search. A couple of things I'd always be telling companies always is Google, when you Google your brand, what do you see in the right hand side? Of course, it's Google My Business Profile. People see the yellow stars. When was the last time you bought something without looking at the yellow stars? Again, and is it 4 or 5 stars? If it's less than that, no one will touch it. Is it 1 or 2 reviews? Again, people are a wee bit nervous. You're missing opportunities, definitely hitting your conversion rate and click-through rate. So an optimized Google My Business Profile is an amazing way for a small business to compete against, because often you find the big businesses tend to ignore their online reviews and mentions because they're too big and they don't really care. And that is adding photos, adding videos up to 30 seconds long, replying to reviews and thanking customers who've left a review, asking customers to leave a review. All of these things are very important. It's not just Google. Obviously, any platform would work as well. On your website, then, if we're working with Marcus, then having those critical keywords, your products and services, having dedicated pages talking about that, having location pages. Again, where do you offer your service? Google's reading your website or other search engines, and of course AI to understand what your business is about and what you do. And if you don't tell people where you operate in, where your ideal customer is, who you help, what you do for them, the the search engines or AIs are not going to guess it for you, and they're just going to ignore you. And again, I'd see that happen and quite a lot. And then probably the last thing now, we're big focus over the last little while, something we didn't really like for many years, but it's the offsite mentions. It's making sure that your brand is visible on other sites. Again, we and since you talked about AI into hardware, I just bought another laptop, and it's an AI enabled laptop. So AI is built into the laptop. So I'm excited to see what this does when it arrives. Probably just glows or something. But let's see.
Yeah, with your new toy now, yeah. I'd be the same. Don't worry.
They just stuck the sticker on AI included. Yeah, that's it. Just put that sticker on anything there. It just sells. But yeah, that's it. So we'll see what that is. But what people are searching in AI, and is your business turning up? So again, search for your business in an AI tool like ChatGPT or Claude or any of these tools and see are you being mentioned in it. But what we're finding is, like, if I was searching for best web design agency Belfast or anything like this, it's looking at multiple sites, it's looking at reviews, it's looking at listicles from all these third-party sites. So all of a sudden, these are very important to feed into this. And again, I do very little searches in search engines anymore. I do most of my searches in AI, because I feel I get a better response and I get a summary, and I'm not looking for the blue links, and there's no paid ads in there. So I just feel I get a cleaner experience. And again, that's another thing that maybe big businesses aren't looking at yet. They're not thinking about where do we rank for these local keywords or keywords. So any small business owner can go and check these now. So I would say, like, yeah, your reputation online, and that's your review sites and third-party sites. That could be a local chamber of commerce, local newspapers if you've employed a few people or won a big contract, or you've worked with one of the agencies locally and there's a case study, brilliant. And then, of course, your own website, as we're talking about, and then your own content through video. Written content's great to do, you need it. But I do think back to it, the future is video. Like, it's it's who's going to be writing and reading content. Another update with these AIs and the written content is, I think it's the art of writing for websites, I think, is going to be totally gone. So it's getting very interesting. But I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that, or so if someone was coming in, like, what would be the top 3 things or 5 things for a really good website to maybe perform well for customers and for search engines?
The first part I would say is think about your initial kind of site introduction. So look at your homepage, very top section, which we very dramatically like to call the hero section of your website. But treat it with that importance. It's going to be your first impression to people. So can you quickly tell them who you are, where you're based, what you do, and can you give them maybe at least 2 or 3 different wee buttons of stuff that they can look at, whether it's something that you're looking to promote, something you want them to do, something you want them to read or check out more of. Especially since we were talking about different forms of content that people are into these days, short form content is very, very popular. People out there may have short attention spans. So if you can get to the point in that initial kind of site introduction, that goes a long way. Next wee part, of course, it's fairly well known these days, but make sure your site is mobile ready. A lot of your users are going to be mobile, most likely. Now, of course, if you're targeting other businesses, then, the odds of them being in front of a laptop or desktop skew a little bit higher. So keep that in mind. Have a wee look at your metrics and see, what your audience is currently like and how they're looking at your website currently. Another wee thing is the performance side of things. Just to talk about that a little bit, make sure to use optimized images. There's a optimized web image format out there called WebP at the minute that is viable for plain old images or logos or anything in between. Ease of navigation. Some websites are going to be a little bit busier than others in terms of their top kind of menu, but make sure you have a nice clear menu structure. Everything should feel nice and seamless. The best way, if you're not sure about how clear your website is to navigate, hand it over to someone with a fresh pair of eyes that doesn't know what they should be seeing or where to find it, and see if they can find it is usually the best way to go about that. So in other words, get yourself a guinea pig to give it a wee go, and that's the best way usually to see where you can make adjustments, corrections, or see where they might, whereas you have an idea of where things should be, they may not. Videos, especially on your website, should be hosted externally, so try to use YouTube, or if not YouTube, then Vimeo as an option for hosting your videos. YouTube's the ideal one, as we've talked about. It's its own marketing sphere in of itself, and it has a lot of value there. If for any reason you want to keep your videos a little bit more private, then Vimeo is the go-to kind of business source for that, I would say too.
Nice, love it. And then I know we've talked about loads of tips and advice for all three categories that we focus on today, but I guess one that's hot, and you mentioned a few times, Chris, is training. So how important is training for a company? I know we all do lots of training for companies and individuals, trying to upskill them, because we do genuinely believe bringing skills in house and empowering people is a great way forward. But again, Chris, I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
Yeah, definitely. I would say if sole traders, SMEs with minimal staff, 5 to 10, training's everything, really. I mean, even here, we're obviously training every day. The amount of things that we learn together as a team, through research and through sharing knowledge across the company, the amount that it helps everyone is dramatic. And it's the exact same for a company that maybe isn't in this space of marketing. And let's take like a hospitality business. Off the top of my head, we've worked with quite a few recently, through our amazing food and drink brand, and you work with them for our objectives and their objectives, and then eventually tell them about some of the local programs that are available through the council, through the likes of Invest NI, and further. You probably know a lot more than I would, Kieran, telling our clients about what's out there. But we've been mentoring as a company now for 4 years, 5 years maybe, on many different programs, and just seeing the impact of the businesses learning about simple things like video production, web development, SEO, social media marketing, all those topics that are super hot for growing your business online. Obviously, we're talking about how SMEs can try and take on our big brands, the big giants online. Online is the best way to take them on, realistically. It's your online presence. It's getting ahead of the curve with emerging markets, new trends, like AI. How many businesses listening to this podcast right now are using the likes of ChatGPT every day to increase productivity? Have you availed of any training services that have taught you, or have attended any masterclasses that have taught you something that you don't know? And if the answer is no, and you're not doing those things, then absolutely get involved, and even reach out to us, and we can signpost you here locally in Northern Ireland, or reach out to your local council or whatever, if you're based somewhere else. So we talked a little bit about your website and how you can go there, maybe to give a few tips and tricks after you create the video. Maybe that's your training, and you've learned a little bit about video production, but what's the next stage then? Marcus said about embedding on YouTube because of the engagement opportunities there. What would you say to someone who has just created a video internally in the company, or maybe a bunch of videos, and they're thinking about where to put them and what to do with them?
Yeah, but great point. So, and it's expensive time and money to create any resource for content. So again, you want to get the maximum return out of it. What we'd see often is someone create a video and maybe not put it on the website or put it on one page on the website. So again, I'd be looking at how many pages can we put on. That might be a service page or about us page. But then what about the blogs? Like, isn't it great to add in videos into multiple blogs that are relevant and embedding a video from YouTube? As far as we know, it improves the ranking of it on YouTube as well. The more embeds, it's a really positive signal. Again, if you're getting third-party mentions, again, mentioning or embedding your video there, that even includes social media sharing. So embedding the video, we'd always see then someone, it's a big flurry, get them, do a month, get the video done, and it's shared on social media, and you never see it again. So again, wouldn't it be great? Like, unless it's out of date, share the video every quarter, every 2 months or 3 months, at least, and try and get a better ROI from that, and that'll keep it, getting views and keeping it visible, but also again back to helping its YouTube ranking. Cut the content up, so take your long form video and cut it into multiple sections, and again, those shorts can go up onto YouTube and then other platforms, onto social media, and onto multiple pages across your site. So again, you're getting all that benefit from it. And every time you upload a video, separate video onto YouTube, you can include a link in the description, which is a link back to your website, which again is building your SEO. So again, yeah, most people do the one thing, but there's so much more you can get out of it. So it's like wringing the cloth to get the last drops of water out of it. Just need to get that return of investment of all that hard work, and that's where I would be focused.
Back to what you mentioned earlier about the AI platforms becoming a search engine, essentially. All that SEO that you just mentioned there with video content, right now we're seeing it in text format. Is there a possibility that it will eventually be AI is suggesting videos for you to watch, or is that already a thing?
It's already there, yeah, 100%. You can watch videos embedded in ChatGPT, for example. So 100%, yeah, in the searches, the videos are coming back. I think video content is going to continue to explode. And we all know YouTube is the second biggest search engine in the world. But video is a great way to convey what we're all talking about earlier is trust and, authentic people, brands, and it's you need to just get on the bandwagon. That's it.
In particular, one of the things I'll be keen to see is how we can use AI tools to try and globalize content a little bit better, as far as translation goes as well. But AI tools now, I've had a look at a few. I don't know if either of you two have seen any as far as like translation kind of options, especially on like YouTube as a platform. Have you seen anything?
So YouTube itself has rolled out. I don't know if it's fully over here yet, but it's translating videos automatically. Oh no, it is. I've seen it, of course. On big channels. So if you go to any of the big channels, a couple of million subscribers, you can go to the wee wrench and you can change it into multiple languages. I think it's got 6 or 8 languages already. So it's doing auto translations of the videos, and that's going to roll out to everyone. And 6 or 8 today, 20 tomorrow, and 50 in the future. So again, that's another thing that's it's coming. So you'll be able to brush up in your Spanish and your French very soon, Marcus.
and that's in text format in the subtitles, right?
Nope.
That's voice.
Yep.
Wow.
Voice. We'll get our editor. We'll just play a little clip of that from some video on YouTube and show people right after that. But yeah, exactly, that's it. So
So you don't even need to go to the apps that you're creating the content on anymore. It's actually coming to the platforms that are hosting.
It's automatic, yeah. Done and dusted, yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be an interesting one. There's, let's say, the next wee step then that they'll try to look at is to see what they can do for live content as well, which will probably be a little bit tougher. You need to process awfully quickly. A little bit of delay needed, maybe, but
accessibility as well. I'm thinking of that as well.
Time,
what to do. So we've covered like a million things today already, which I love. But if you were to have like, what would be your key point for like, if you pick one thing an SME should do today to try and compete with big businesses, what would it be? I'll start with you, Chris.
Create as much content as you can in the highest quality that you can, and definitely look into equipment, budget equipment. Just the content, the best camera you have is the camera in your hand. I'm quoting Casey Neistat when I say that. But 100% hammer the content. If you're going to pay for commercial video production with an agency or freelancer, definitely look at your options. There's some companies out there that will have very big prices, and some on the opposite that will work with you and create content in a budget way that is definitely going to be really beneficial for the business. So 100% create as much content as you can. If you're already if you're a business, the content is sort of right there in front of you. So all you need to do is be creative with it, and hit record, and then edit with the likes of CapCut using your AI tools. And the next minute, you have 100 videos on your channel. So get going.
Love it. And Marcus, what's yours?
Let's see. I would say be prompt and creative, essentially, with your website. Give good, clear calls to action whenever you want people to look at, do things, or see things, or interact with things. At the same time, give them lots of easy to digest information as well. There'll be spaces elsewhere on your site for more long form content to appease the SEO gods, of course. But at least for the first part of your website, be nice and prompt. Give them a quick wee introduction. Use nice wee creative elements, be it imagery, videos like we've discussed, and make it a nice kind of wee introduction for people whenever they first land on your website. Make it nice and engaging, and don't be afraid to go off the beaten path with it as well. You don't got to keep it strict and formal as a website. You can be a little bit more devilish.
My one would be Google Map profile. So make sure you use it, because again, first impressions, it impacts multiple things from AI to your website to your rankings to conversion rate when people search. Because again, the more they see of that, then people click through to your website. So I think it's a nice, and it's super easy. No tech skills, don't need a camera. Yeah.
Especially for the likes of bars, restaurants, or different kind of attractions too. It's certainly something I've used anytime I'm taking a wee trip over the water anywhere. It's the first thing that I'll do is look up restaurants near me, bars near me, or
I'm the exact same. Google Maps profile would be the first place I would look for food. There's even been times where I've been flicking through, the apps. Like I'm a big foodie, so flicking through Deliveroo, Just Eat, Uber Eats, and sometimes the photos on there are a little bit staged. When you go into Google Maps, you see firsthand people posting their meals, and that's what I love about it. It's a communal contribution.
Or the menu. Sometimes I'm looking for that as well.
Love it. And it's the #1 app in the world.
Is it?
Yeah, #1 app in the world. And the AI integration is incredible. So we don't have it fully here yet. Classic. It's coming, but it looks amazing. So yeah. Enough said. So we all agree on that one. Hey, very good. So no, brilliant conversation today, gents. Thank you very much for all the tips and advice for SMEs who are trying to fight bigger competitors. Really appreciate it. And thank you for watching or listening, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you.